If I had a list right now of all the keywords that would work profitably for you,
Yeah,
how much would you buy that list from me for?
a lot.
Yeah, right off the bat, it looks competitive. So the
Yeah,
the demand, the sales looks great. I mean, you've got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven people, well over 1,000 sales. So there's definitely good demand for the product. But when I jump over to the
yeah,
review column to check out like how competitive it is, I
yeah,
mean, all those top sellers are into over 100 into hundreds of reviews. So we're looking at the sales column and we're seeing all the sellers that are making good sales. And then I like to just
yeah,
jump over and see how many reviews do they have to make that amount of sales. And so when I look over there, I go 300, 900, okay, 89, that's kind of lowish, but then 100, 100, 63, kind of lowish, 300, 300, 200, 200. So that's pretty competitive. Maybe, there's a couple in there that are 89, 63. So then I'll look at those
yeah,
and go like, how many sales are those guys making? The one with
yeah,
89's got 1,100. The one with 63's got 1,200. So that's pretty good. Like, there's at least something there saying maybe with 60 to 90 reviews you can make over 1,000 sales, but there's not anybody making over 1,000 sales that has like under 50 reviews. I would look at this and go, so when I launch you've got 25 reviews on it, so that's good. um,
yeah,
and so I don't know, I'd be interested to hear how many sales you're making, but I'd say within the 20 to 40 review range, if your like listing is good and everything, you could make a couple
yeah,
hundred sales per month. Because we're seeing there's one, two, three, four, five, six sellers here. I'm looking at the sellers, by the
yeah,
way, with like 56 reviews, 64 reviews, 47 reviews, 22, and 38.
yeah.
So that's a lowish amount of review range. You're kind of already in that range, at the low end of that range.
Yeah.
So I'd say, from
So
where you're
I
at
want to
with,
ask as well.
go ahead.
I want to ask because I'm so what is actually giving me the organic rank? Is it the sales velocity or is it the review count?
It's a combination.
And
So
what's more important?
between what?
So what would carry more weight, as in what? Because for example, I have 25 reviews, but if I don't do any PPC, I'll shoot up to 17,000 rank in terms of electronics, and I would barely get any sales in unless I actually do PPC.
Right. So are you asking how can you get sales without PPC?
Can you get, like, let's say I had 30 reviews, 40 reviews, and I didn't do PPC? Would that mean I would get no sales without PPC?
Um, Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I mean, unless, yeah, it's a competitive market, which is the problem, right? Because um, you have 25 reviews, which is a low amount of reviews in this market. It's not
yeah,
like an amount of reviews that puts you in the same at the same level or above really any of these other sellers.
yeah,
So then if you want to get sales, you're not gonna organically, that demand isn't organically going to come to you because there's
I see.
better options before you. So they're gonna go
Yeah,
buy those options first. So then what you have to do is, if you want to get more sales and get ranked better organically, it's a combination of a few things. It's how many sales are you making, how many
yeah,
reviews are you getting, and then are you able to stay in stock over the long term? Because that's another thing that Amazon pays attention to. And then within that, there's another statistic that Amazon pays attention to, which is your sales conversion percentage. So, say 1,000 people click onto your listing,
yeah.
Amazon's paying to what percentage of those people buy your product versus the
I see.
percentage of people that buy other people's product when they click onto that listing. So if people click onto your listing and only 5% of people are converting, and then there's other listings that when people click onto those listings, they get a 30% conversion rate, then Amazon's going to work on promoting the listing that gets a 30% conversion rate versus a 5% conversion rate, because that's better for everybody. It's better for Amazon, it's better for the customer, it's better for the seller. So what you have to do is
That makes
just
sense.
work on it's really a combination of all of those things. I'm going to kind of give it, I'm kind of just like spatting this all at you, and then I'm going to try and I'm going to try and come back and simplify it and give you like a one solid, like here's where you should start. So all of that is, it's sales, it's reviews, inventory management, and then like what's the conversion percentage when people land on your page. And then your job now is to try and do all of those better than other sellers so that you can start to rise above them and capture more sales. So, man, but the main thing here is you've got to get more reviews. If you don't have more reviews, people are...
My review getting system is actually quite good. So I got 25 reviews in about a month or so.
Okay.
But it's either I go for reviews or I do PPC. Because the reviews I do it by giveaway on Instagram.
Okay, so do you have an email campaign set up? Like when someone buys a product, they get an email from you? Do you have that set up at all? No?
No.
Okay. All right, so actually, let me double check real fast, because I just made a video. Let me see when it's coming out. On what I'm about to explain to you, I've got a video coming out on it.
The thing is, before the corona, I was actually, because I was in the whole trend of it, so before the actual corona thing actually spiked, so it sold me out. And then I saw your video where you said you can actually pause the listing and it holds your seller's rank, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it took me all the way up to 50,000 when I was waiting for my stock to come back, and obviously everything was delayed because of the whole corona thing.
So, and how were you making some sales previously? I mean, if you stocked out.
When I was in the spike, I was doing I was on like 8 reviews. I was doing like 10 a day.
Okay, that's good. But then now since everything's kind of gone back to normal, it's dipped.
Yeah, right now I'm doing between I'll say 2 to 4 a day. That's with PPC?
With PPC. Okay. All right. I just sent that video live on my YouTube, so that'll be there when we're done with this call. I'm going to go through everything right now, but if you want to just kind of hear a second take on it, it's called like how I get hundreds of reviews on my Amazon products or something like that. PPC wise, what's your ACOS? Are you like at a...
It's gone quite high.
Pretty high. So
this is my current campaign. So it's currently at 46.79.
Okay. And then are you running auto campaigns, manual, both? So
this is all manual.
Okay.
I never did auto before. But most of the sort of sales and the clicking is coming from 2 different keywords, as you can see, this one and this one.
And it's not testing the other ones.
Sorry?
And it hasn't really tested any of the other ones.
No, it's literally taking all the spend, the ad spend. So the others are not getting in.
I can't stand that Amazon does that. It honestly annoys me so much.
It really annoys me. So what I try to do, I try to do separate ones.
That's
where these 2, I tried to make them as separate ones, and so I could pause them in this one and see if the others take in. But when I did it separately, I was not producing any sales. And then when I turned those off and I turned this one back on with those 2 in there, then I started producing sales again. And I was really confused on what to do then.
Yeah, yeah, that's annoying. So, I mean, your approach is pretty right. Maybe the only thing I would have done different is my preference is always to, when something's working, just don't touch it. Don't turn it off. Don't edit it. Just let it do its thing. So what I might have done is the campaign that we're inside of right now, where they're on and working, I would have just left those running, turned off all
Mhm.
the other ones, and all those other ones I would have gone and put in a new campaign.
That makes sense. That makes better
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
instead of turning it off, trying to do it in another one, just leave those running. They're working, they're doing their thing. Just go take the other ones that aren't running and throw them in another campaign, which is
But
super
even though
annoying.
the ACOS is quite high.
Right. So they're not. I mean, they're working, but not at a like. I mean, I don't know what your numbers are, but that's likely not profitable for you at 45%.
Yeah, is I mean, some days I'm slightly in a profit and some days I'm slightly in a loss.
Okay. All right.
It's just because this campaign right now is more the frugal way that you say is the more search volume keywords.
Yeah.
Whereas I try to do the one where I will just take 200-300 keywords from one of the more top selling ASINs with the low reviews that would be somewhat similar to mine. I put that in here, but after a day or two days, it wasn't giving back anything. So I sort of went with the more search volume ones.
Right. Okay. So thanks for showing me all that. I think I can kind of jump into it's kind of my overall thoughts here. So I think there's kind of two different. Let's talk about two different things. They'll kind of mix together.
Yeah.
But first, let's go review wise, like how to build a machine to get more reviews. I'll break that down, and then let's talk. If hopefully we'll still have time, but talk PPC because the fact that it's working is good. That's a good sign. Not really profitable for you, but I believe that can be improved. So basically, everything I'm seeing right now, I see room for improvement, which is really good. But like I've already mentioned, you're in a competitive market, so it's not going to be as easy and straightforward as if you had launched in a less competitive market. But okay, so first let's talk about building this review machine. So how are you going to get more reviews? Giveaways, I mean, that's been working for you, so that's fine. I personally, I don't do giveaways, and I don't really recommend giveaways. I just don't. The only thing I'll do in that sense is like, at the very beginning, just to get a couple on there, I'll get a couple people I know just to legit order the product and leave a review, and then if they want, I'll reimburse them through like Venmo or something. But
my one is actually even more hardcore, where I get people that are close, and then I would actually send them the money. They would then purchase
and then they buy it,
and then they would get their closest friends.
Okay.
So it was a much more hardcore approach, but it did work.
Yeah, I mean,
it can still work. I still have people waiting that want some, but obviously I'm low on the budget.
Sure. So that, I mean, if that's working for you, just make sure you don't doing anything to get you in trouble with Amazon's rules and stuff, because just that if you getting your account shut down, that sort of thing is a nightmare. But okay, so the next thing you're gonna want to do is have an email campaign in place. And you are using Helium 10. Have you signed up for the Platinum plan, or do you just have X-Ray? You've been using Cerebro.
I think I have the.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have the Platinum.
So if you click on Follow Up at the middle top of the page, where it says like Tools, Profits, Follow Up. Yeah. So Follow Up. This is where you're going to be able to set up an email campaign. And basically, the idea here is that when someone purchases off of your listing, you want an email to go out to them, or a series of emails, depending on how you want to set it up. And the whole point of the emails is to encourage them to leave a review. And so it's going to be a low number of people that see your review and see your email and go leave a review. But it will help. So like, I don't know, maybe every 10 or 20 people out of 100 that buy that you send an email to, maybe they'll leave a review. But you just want to set this up automatically so that when they make a purchase, emails start going out, and those emails encourage them to leave reviews. And so then with that, and we can go over that more, but let me first just kind of build out the machine here. So once that's in place, then that's where you need to start focusing on sales velocity, how many sales you're going to get. Because, with this email in place, it's basically just the more orders you get, the more reviews you'll get. Because it's just a percentage of all the people that receive this email will lead to a review. So the more emails you can send out, the more orders people make, the more emails you can send out, and the more reviews you'll get. So just set this, and the video that I just launched, or maybe it's a different one, I can send you a link to them. But I've made one where I go through. I show you how I have my email stuff set up inside of Helium 10.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just have it on autopilot, and just every time someone buys, they start getting emails about leaving a review, essentially.
Okay.
And so then a part of how you're going to want to increase your sales velocity is through PPC.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the main way is launch a high demand, low competition product, but we're past that already. So the main way I say to increase your sales velocity is PPC. And it's a little bit tough depending on your budget and how just frugal you're trying to be. But my personal approach when I launch products on Amazon is I will literally go find every keyword that I can that is relevant to my product and run that keyword in PPC. So it's lists of hundreds, maybe even over thousands of keywords. And I just go take those and I plug them in. And the reason that I do that is because to play the guessing game of let's go try and find 5 that I think will work. It's just a blind guessing game. You just have no clue. You can try and go off your best intuition and research, but in the end, you just got to let the thing run and see how, Amazon promotes it and how customers respond and what the data is. So what I do is I find all the keywords, I throw them in, I let them run for a couple days, and then I go in and look and which ones are working, which ones are not working, turn off all the ones that are not working, and then I leave the ones on that are working. And what happens is when you go find tons of keywords and throw them in there, you're going to find a bunch that aren't going to work, but you are going to find some that are going to work. And those are going to...
how much are you going to be spending on daily for that, for each campaign?
That's it. It really just depends on your budget and how you want to set that up. It just really does. And so the way another thing that happens is if you make sales through your PPC, that revenue from those sales starts to sit inside of your Amazon account. And then what can happen is what happens is you can tell Amazon, instead of taking your PPC budget, instead of charging that straight to your card, coming in and making that money come straight out of your pocket, you can have Amazon deduct that amount from the revenue that's built up in your Amazon Seller Central account. So what I do, and this is again where high demand, low competition comes into play, is because when I go and launch those PPC campaigns, I know it's high demand, low competition, so I know I'm going to get sales. There might be a little bit of a loss, but I know I'm going to get sales, and I'm going to get an amount of revenue to start to build up. And then the idea is that when it comes time for Amazon to charge me for that advertising cost, it's just going to deduct it from the revenue that I've already built up. So it actually never touches any of my money out of pocket.
And how do you set that up?
It's just if you go into your Amazon, if you go in Amazon Seller Central, you go into your advertising settings, I think. Here, I can look exactly what it is real fast. It's just a setting you select. Oh, there's another thing right there I just saw. Your buy box percentage has been pretty low, which is another thing we could talk about.
What does that mean? I never understood what that meant. I thought that meant where there was other sellers selling the same product within my ASIN or something.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's confusing. It's a little weird, but basically Amazon, you built the listing, you put up your images and your description and bullet points and stuff. But then other people can come and sell on top of that listing that you just built. And so Amazon picks the best one to show as the seller. So when someone, if I go to your product page right now, it might show me that someone else is selling that product, not you. And so if I buy it, are you?
Yeah.
That is you? Okay. Yeah, so
because here it just shows me.
Yeah, but sometimes when other people will win the buy box, and so when someone on your listing clicks buy, it's actually a different person that got that sale.
Oh wow.
It's a weird thing.
But don't they ask? But don't they require your permission to do that?
Require your what?
Your permission.
No.
Don't you have to author? You don't. Wow.
No,
I
Amazon.
thought you had to authorize it.
No, Amazon's weird like that. The way you get around that is you trademark your brand, you register it with Amazon, and then once your brand's registered with Amazon, nobody else can sell on your listing. But until then, it's like right now, one of my listings is at like a 98% buy box win rate. So like there's like 2% of the time where someone else, because I'm talking about one of the products I have that's not brand registered, and so like it wins 98% of the time, but 2% of the time it doesn't. But if I go brand register that, which I'm working on, then that should always just be 100%. No one else can ever sell on that listing because it's my brand, my trademark, officially trademarked through all the right processes.
And are they winning that via PPC, or how are they winning that?
So you win the buy box. You can click in, and Amazon will give you some information on this. But the way you win the buy box is it's a combination of things. A huge part of it is your price point. So like if there's a more competitive price point that Amazon can offer on that listing, then that they'll give the buy box oftentimes to that person. And then also your sales conversion percentage will factor in. Inventory management is another thing that factors in. Your images is another thing that factors in. Like, do you have in your images, do you have your logo in there at all or anything like that?
No.
And are these images that you just grabbed from someone else?
This is from the manufacturer. They sent it to me.
Yeah. So, customizing your pictures can help with winning the buy box, especially if you go throw your brand in there and stuff.
That makes sense.
That'll deter people a little bit more from trying to sell on top of your listing. And that could be as simple as like if it were me, I would go in on the image right now that you're hovering over. I'd go in on like probably on like the part of it. Like down in there, like right where that little screw thing is on the side.
Yeah.
That middle piece, maybe I'd throw like your logo on there. Just so it shows to someone else that like this isn't necessarily a generic product. Like this is someone who's got their specific brand on it, and that can.
Would you do it just on the image or the product itself?
I do it on the product. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So literally right there, like underneath that silver ball, there's that round black piece. That just seems like a spot, where you see someone's logo right there. So something like that.
The only thing with the manufacturer is that they want a minimum of 500 pieces.
So I'm saying just Photoshop it onto your picture, onto your image.
All right.
And upload it just for buy box purposes.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, as on the manufacturing side, if you actually want to truly print the logo on there, then yeah, you can do that, and there's probably another cost for that. But I'm saying just for like buy box purposes, a little bit of a kind of like trick you could do or whatever is just Photoshop.
Would you make it stand out like a white sort of?
Yeah, I'd do it white, but I wouldn't, I'd make it look like, I'd do your best job possible to make it look like it's actually printed on there.
Natural, yeah.
Natural, yeah.
When we're saying sales velocity, how many per day would we be looking for? Is there a set number or?
I mean, as many as possible, right? Like the more sales, the better. Unless you're doing it all at a loss, then you're kind of causing some trouble for yourself. But as long as you can do it profitably, as many as possible. But if you want to gauge,
I'm just thinking about my inventory, because I have about almost 70 pieces left, and then I should get another 150 probably beginning of next month. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't run out, sort of thing, but then at the same time be profitable.
Yeah, no, this is the game.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
This is it, man. Like I see people get here and it's like, well, how does this work? Like, what's the one thing I got to do here? It's like, no, 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 no. This is the game. Like, play
Yeah,
now, have some fun. Like, learn how to play. But
yeah.
yeah, that's it. So I would say, here's a mistake I'll tell you to avoid. Don't
Okay.
don't let stocking out scare you.
Yeah.
You don't want to stock out, but don't let that be a reason. Don't let that stop you from doing the things that you actually need to do, which is
Mhm.
get sales, get reviews, run the PPC, and then if that if within that you stock out, then that's how that goes. Now the issue is if you stock out and everything you did to get to that point was at a loss, and now you don't have money to buy more inventory, like then you really screwed yourself over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but as far as just finding the balance between your next order of inventory and stocking out and trying to increase your sales velocity, I would say and this is how I do it. I just my approach, legit. If I were you right now, and I don't know what your budget is, so that would factor in maybe a little bit differently. But what I would be doing is throwing in all the keywords because
Yeah.
I want to find some that have a 10% ACOS. And maybe I throw in hundreds of keywords and I only find 4 keywords that have a 10 to 12% ACOS, but then I can use those 4 keywords to make me profitable sales over and over and over and over and over again. And then through those profitable sales, I'll get some reviews and these things will start to compound.
But what if that 10% in ACOS, the search volume is quite low?
Still very helpful. Like still very helpful. Extremely helpful. Yeah. Because
Okay.
that's Amazon showing a legit sell, even if it's on a smaller keyword. Fine. Like and especially like that might be what you have to do here is get sales through smaller keywords, smaller search volume keywords, and
Makes
then
sense.
as you grow, get more sales, more reviews, more inventory history, then you'll start to rank and be able to capture sales inside of those larger search volume, more competitive keywords.
Hmm. Makes sense.
But what's so interesting at the beginning is like you just don't like there's so many different keywords people are using and you don't know which
Yeah.
ones are the best ones for you. And in my opinion, the easiest way to figure that out is just throw them in PPC, let it run for a little bit, turn off the ones that aren't, and go from there.
So how many? So for example, this campaign I had, the first ever one I did had about, I think 300 keywords.
So
How
here's
much would I?
yeah, how much budget would you give that? So what I would do,
Yeah, and how long would I run it for?
right? So you've seen how Amazon will how certain keywords will hog all of your budget. They'll just take it and keep taking it, and Amazon won't disperse it to other keywords. So this is kind of
Yeah.
annoying, but what I try and do is instead of launching a campaign that has 200 keywords in it, I'll try and separate out those 200 keywords into 8 different campaigns of 25 keywords. So then I have a better
I
chance of
see.
Amazon dispersing evenly and one keyword not hogging all of my budget, especially if that keyword's not profitable, but Amazon just keeps feeding it my budget and it's not testing out the other
Yeah.
keywords. That's like worst case scenario for me. So what I do is I try and create small campaigns with a small number of keywords, 15 to 25 keywords, something like that. But even then, Amazon like will still sometimes just pick one keyword, and that one keyword will just hog all the budgets. But anyways, that's how I'll set it up, and I'll let it run. I'll come back the next day, and I just keep a close eye on it because, especially at the beginning, I really really don't want a keyword or multiple keywords to run away with all of my budget and do it at a loss.
Mm.
Like, so I come in and
Yeah.
I poke at it every day, and I just look and see like, okay, click into this campaign, how much has been spent, which keywords has the budget been going to, are they profitable, are they not profitable, and I just manage it, and I manage it daily for, I mean, within 2, 3, 4, 5 days, you should have been able to pretty much tested most of those keywords and
Hmm.
turned off all the bad ones and found some good ones. And that's just me, man. Like,
No,
15
that's
to
good
25
because I would have
keywords is,
never known that.
yeah. Well, I mean, you've definitely seen how they hog the budget. Now it's just like,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that's all I did is I was like, man, this is just my budget's going to one keyword and the keyword's not even profitable. Like, what this doesn't work. Like, it's not helping me at all. So then I just came
Exactly.
up with like if I want all these keywords to get tested evenly, like what's kind of a way I can set stuff up to have a better chance at that. So that's where I kind of came up with a 15 to 25 keywords in a campaign and just create a bunch of different campaigns. But that is super annoying. It's not as not as easy to manage. So this is another really good one. Unless you've got any questions, I've got another little PPC thing we can move into.
No, yeah, you go.
Okay. So just automatic campaigns.
Yes, I've never tried that. What does that even mean?
So you know how in a manual campaign you choose the keywords and you say Amazon target these keywords? Automatic campaign, Amazon automatically chooses what keywords it's going to go target. So you don't input any keywords or anything. You just say.
All right.
So it takes a look at your listing, and based off of your listing, will do its best job to find relevant keywords. Sometimes it does okay, and like sometimes you can run auto campaigns profitably. I'd honestly, in my experience, most of the time, I don't know if most is right, but a lot of the time, auto campaigns don't really run profitably. But the thing is, the real reason you want to run auto campaigns is because,
get the keywords.
Yep, exactly. Because as Amazon's going out and finding those keywords, after it's done that, it will give you a report of all those keywords, and it'll tell you, which ones have converted for you and at which ACOS, at what your ACOS was on it. And so that's just a really, really, so like instead of going to Cerebro or competitors' listings, your Amazon's doing that heavy lifting for you and building you a key list, a keyword list. So
yeah, I also want to ask as well, is it important, because I was looking at the click-through rates as well. Is that something you need to sort of pay attention to?
So my opinion on click-through rates for Amazon PPC, I have some keywords that will have like a 20% click-through rate and not get profitable conversions for me. I'll have another keyword that has like a 0.05% click-through rate and it gets profitable conversions for me. So honestly, I don't care what the click-through rate is. I just care what how our conversion's happening and what the ACOS is. Is it profitable for me? I just don't see how the click-through rate, like paying attention to that, I just don't see how that's going to lead me to making more sales. Or like, but if I can find keywords that are actually making sales at a profit, then great. But I've just seen it too many times where a keyword will have a really high click-through rate but not make me sales, and ones with really low click-through rates will make me sales. So I don't know. I don't get too hung up on click-through rate. I just try and pay attention to what's making sales and are they profitable.
Okay.
And then with the auto campaign, that one I'll even run it at a little bit of a loss just so I can essentially like buy that keyword report. If it's at a huge loss, then maybe not, but likely it won't be at a huge loss. But even if you don't like the idea of running it at a loss, like I'd even still say still run it at the beginning here and get the keyword report and then use those keywords.
That's after like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, 4 or 5 days. Give it a week, maybe something like that. And you don't have to give it much per day. You could give it five a day, $10 per day, but just enough so it can start to build you a report, like a keyword list. It's easy to get distracted or caught up in a lot of other different data points or strategies.
Yeah.
And the really what I try and do is, and I'm talking like this is me having conversations with myself, is I try and just like when I get kind of to a point where it's like I feel a little overwhelmed or there's too many options, I just go, okay, what's the one thing I'm trying to accomplish, which in this case it's profitable sales, and then what's the one thing I need to do to make that happen. And so in this case, if you want to get more sales, you need to get more reviews. So then the question becomes, all right, how do I get more reviews? Get the emails going out, and then use PPC to increase your sales velocity. But then
Mhm.
within that is the game of, all right, but you got to do that within budget.
And the email campaign doesn't cost anything, does it?
If you're signed up for the platinum plan, which it looks like you are,
Yeah.
then it's already included.
And is that just one follow-up email?
No, you can set up however many you want. Like you could, so
Okay.
like like I know some people will do like right when someone orders the product, they send out a like, hey, thank you for ordering email, and then when the product gets sent out, they get a, hey, your product's on the way email, and then when the product arrives, they get another email saying like, hey, just the product arrived, will you please leave a review on it. Some people do it that way.
Okay.
I personally only send out one email when they receive the product.
Yeah.
But that's a matter of like testing, seeing what works best for you.
Mhm.
I don't know. I lean more towards like I'm just gonna send them one email and not annoy them too much. But sometimes, annoying people with 3 or 4 is
Yeah.
gets you more reviews. So
Would I still let that run, or
that's how I do it. Once I see, so like if my profit margin on a product, let's just say it's $5. Once I see my ad spend, like if I click in here and I see that it spent $3.20, I look at that and go, all right, let's let it keep going. Because maybe it turns out profitable. Maybe if it hits break even on a sale, and then when I let it make the next sale, then maybe that one's profitable. So, but if I come in here and it's already spent $6.90, then I'm not. Then I turn that off because it's already quite a ways over my break even. So that is how I look at it. Like I know what my break even is, and then I kind of use that to determine when I turn ads off or not. Going back to how aggressive I get with it, honestly, I'll launch them. I'll come up with like my list of say 25 keywords that I'm gonna throw into a campaign, and sometimes I'll just go, okay, I'm gonna create a phrase campaign, an exact campaign, and a broad campaign for all those 25 keywords, 3 separate campaigns, and just see which ones perform.
Okay.
But
Wow.
I don't. No, I know that's not. Like, look. This is really. I know it's really hard to like wrap your head around, especially when you're trying to be frugal with your budget. But like, if you can look at, like, look, if I had a list right now of all the keywords that would work profitably for you,
Yeah.
how much would you buy that list from me for?
A lot.
So, but my point with that is, like, if that's really a list of keywords and it's like, hey, plug this in and this is gonna make your product sales every day, every month, like, dude, buy that list. Like, even if it costs you a bit up front, buy that list, and then even if you have to let that list run for a month 2 through 12 through 20 is all going to be profitable for you. So that's how I look at this whole keyword PPC data up front, is like, I want to buy the good information, the good keywords. The only way I can get that, I gotta plug them in, I gotta let it run, and I've gotta risk my money.
The thing is as well is that most of us, we know it, but when we hear it from someone else, I guess we look for the affirmation as well at the same time. Because now that you said it to me, now I feel like I can do that.
Oh, one more thing I wanted to say. So PPC wise, so like going aggressive and just throwing everything in there. Yeah, it feels like, oh man, I could lose so much money that way. But that's where where I say be really on top of managing it just daily. Jump in like every morning. Literally every morning I jump into my Amazon Seller Central account as like one of the first things I do. I just make sure everything looks right, and then I also go in and click into my PPC campaigns. And especially when I'm in like when I'm in the phase that you're in right now, it's like every day I'm in there, and every day I'm in there looking at every keyword.
Yeah, but how do you not like? It might sound silly. How do you not get like sort of get your emotions wrapped up into it? You know, like I need to make a sale. I'm making a loss. You know, all that sort of stuff running through your head.
Uh, oh, like how? So the question's how to not like let your emotions get too involved. Um,
Yes.
and are we talking emotions based off of like I really don't want to lose this money, like that kind of a feeling?
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to lose this money, and you know, these are not working, and then you sort of get very defensive, and you're thinking you have your strategy, and you know what your strategy is, but because the prior campaigns isn't working, now you're thinking, should I continue with this campaign or that campaign because this is losing me money, and then just go all on defensive. That's why, because when my ACOS was rising, because at first it was actually about 25%, the other one was quite high. One of them was actually doing really well for me. This one was doing really well for me. At one point it was 25%, and this one was always quite high. It was actually, I think it was higher than this before. And then it's just like I started getting. I had to step away from my Amazon app and not look at my sales, and I had to literally take a day off.
I know what you're okay. I know exactly what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Man, the answer to that though, I don't know if I know exactly. So I think a couple things. One, just patience, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how you found out about Amazon or anything like that, but I know a lot of times I've seen people approach Amazon with like this needs to work quick and fast,
Yeah.
and like I've heard gurus talk about how quick and easy and fast all this is, and like
Yeah.
if that's not what is happening, then this thing isn't working, and I'm done. It's like I feel fortunate that before I ever jumped into anything online business, I'd never heard from a guru. And so like I'd already figured out, I was already selling successfully on Amazon when I for the very first time came across some sort of Amazon guru talking about Amazon to sell a course, that sort of thing. But what I see happen is that's how a lot of people do get introduced to it. And so they have this whole like kind of just this even if it's just a wish or a want of like make this happen quick and be successful quick, when the truth is, man, and you're feeling this a little bit, like it's not a simple like some 13-year-old kid on YouTube can watch it and now do it. Like it's real money, it's real product, it's real business, it's real data. It's like it's a real business, and like to come in and think that right away it's like just gonna be perfect and you're gonna understand it super well and just be a boss, like long shot. So I say that my first thing there is just patience. Like when I got to the point when you were explaining where like it clicked for me, and I remembered it was Facebook ads for me, not Amazon, but I remember like you're watching the data, and then it's just getting so frustrating because you're seeing things start to go the opposite direction or whatever, and it's like and for you to really see what's going on, you've got to wait another 24 48 hours. But it's like,
exactly.
But you're already starting to feel this like energy of like, oh, this is so frustrating. This isn't gonna work out. I felt that with Facebook ads, but I think the biggest thing, man, is like, just understand that what you're working on. This isn't a card game or a board game that we're playing for the night. You know, like you're trying to build a business here. There's gonna be a lot of learning along the way. A big part of business is the whole money component, the risk, the reward, the management. And so it's like so one thing is patience, and then the second thing for me, this was like the first thing I thought of when you asked me the question is that yes, it's frustrating and annoying, but also that's the part of it that's fun to me. It's like that's the figuring it out part. That's the I sucked at this 2 weeks ago, but now I feel so much better and happier because I worked through it for these 2 weeks, and now I understand it and I'm doing better at it. So for me, that's where like fulfillment and fun comes from. Not in the same kind of like party type of fun, but in a like challenging myself and growing type of fun. So I don't know, man. That's just me. Like I'm speaking for myself here. That patience matters a lot for me, and then just like knowing that there's a 46% Atkos there, that kind of rubs me the wrong way because I want that to be profitable. But then in my mind, now there's this little game that I can play and this little challenge I can try and figure out of, all right, can I turn that into a 26? Like, how do I do that? But, everyone's different there. Some people...
No, it's good to hear it from that, because I'm guessing a lot of your viewers will be in the same sort of mentality as I am, because they're trying to get themselves going as well, and to hear it from your perspective as well is quite reassuring.
Yeah, for sure. And probably in one of the videos you watched, I was working with a guy who he was in a market much more competitive than what you're in.
Yeah.
And I was basically just trying to tell him the same thing, because first PPC results were kind of similar. There was like one or two in there that had a good Atkos, but the rest of them didn't. And he was in the same spot, just like, well, I've got a budget and I want to make this work. Like, and I pretty much just said the same thing. I think it's just like, buy the keywords, be patient, play the game, have some fun with it. And another piece of it is like I just never looked at a failed product as the end. I just see it as like all right, well, let's figure out the next one then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll stop talking now, but that's kind of how I feel about it all.
Yeah, no, that definitely does help hearing that sort of perspective and knowing where I am at, because I did come into FBA with that sort of buy Lamborghini a day sort of idea, but I did understand that that was not actually realistic, but there's always that in the back of your head because of what you sort of absorbed.
Yeah. Well,
by your day-to-day.
I'll tell you this, man. It is realistic to buy a Lamborghini with Amazon money if that's what you want to do. I also will say most of those guys don't buy Lambos with their Amazon money. They buy it with their course money. but they act like they bought it with their Amazon money. But anyways, it is real where you can make that amount of money. But here's what I'll say to that is, if you want to make that amount of money off of Amazon, speaking for myself here and other people that I know who have made Lamborghini money off of Amazon, we've launched 1, 2, 3 products before we got one to really work. And then once that one worked, we even launched another 1 or 2 that didn't work. And then, like, I've seen it over and over and over again where the actual Amazon sellers that are successful have launched plenty of products that don't work, especially when they launched their very first ones, probably didn't really work.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing is like, the money for me going into it, and I've started a few different businesses now, and it's been the same with every one of them, but I say up front, okay, I've got this little chunk, I want to go try this business. I'm fully okay if I completely lose this whole chunk of money. And I go forward and try it. I think that gets in the way too. Is like, if you want to do an Amazon business, like, or any business, like, I don't know. I'm just willing to. I'm not willing to. How am I trying to put this?
Even if it goes, it goes. It's just a learning experience.
And the worst thing to me would be to go for it, but not go for it all the way, because maybe that last little bit in between going for it and going for it all the way is where the success lies. And so I'd rather come out the other side having maybe lost more than I wanted or lost the whole amount, but have given it the full try, than to have cut myself a little bit short just because I got a little bit scared about losing a little too much money or something, right? So, but again, that's a very personal, money becomes very personal. It's very closely related to your life, your lifestyle. So, but for me, that's how, like, my very first, I don't know, I'm just aggressive and I'm okay from the very beginning if it doesn't work out, which then allows me more room to play while I'm trying to figure it out, if that makes sense.
What would be more important, would you say? Would it be the email campaign with the follow up for the reviews, or would it be with the sales velocity, or would it be getting reviews with the giveaways?
All of it. So yeah, no, because here's the thing: it's two things: get more reviews, get more sales. And the way that I say to the way that I'm saying the best way to do that is to build the machine, and the machine is PPC gets you the sales, emails go out, get you the reviews boost you in the rankings and get you more sales, and those reviews also will make your PPC work better, and so then it all just starts to compound. And legit, when you let that compound and just let that machine run over like 6 months, that's when you're like that. This is the video that I just published on YouTube, but that's how you get hundreds and hundreds of reviews on your listing. Is set up this machine, and now just let it run for months. So yeah, I don't think one is more important than the other. I think it's all of it together at once. You've got to increase your sales velocity. You've got to have the emails going out. You've got to be getting the reviews, and that in turn will increase your sales velocity, which will increase on and on. Because the reviews is the main thing. Like, you just need more reviews on your listing, because you have 25 in a market where to get good reviews you need 80 to 200. So you just need more reviews. So if you want to keep using giveaways to get more reviews, then yeah, I anything you can do to get more reviews without getting in trouble, I think is great. And so if you've got more people that can drop some reviews on for you there, then by all means do that. But so let's say you do that, use up the rest of whatever you have there, but you don't set up the machine, well, you're not going to have a continual drip of reviews coming in.
That's so true.
So I would say just because you don't have to spend any extra on the machine, because, well, I mean, you have to spend PPC, but as far as follow-up goes, the email, that side of it,
yeah,
that's already included in what you have with Helium 10. So just get that set up, easy, done. And then you just gotta, so your review stuff is in place. Then you just gotta get the sales happening.
What about video reviews over written reviews?
Yeah, so like if you've got people leaving reviews for you, if they want to take pictures or video, even better.
Yeah.
Yep. And also, if people go in and click this comment was helpful, then Amazon also counts that as like a it factors, it's a positive influence on your whole review rating thing that Amazon's taking into account. So that's another good thing to encourage people to do, is to just click the helpful button on the 5-star reviews.
Yeah. And let's say, for example, right now we're on the 22nd, and let's say my next batch of inventory would be about 150 units, and that would come second week of July. And right now I have 70 units. So how should I go about in terms of sales velocity? And should I just be focused on keywords? If I sell out, I sell out.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about trying to pace yourself until your new inventory comes in.
Yeah, because that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I think it'd just be more advantageous for you to get that machine in place and try and build up velocity and review. Really, I think it's just get the reviews. just worry about getting more reviews, and because that's what's really gonna. Because like, look, if let's say you pace it so you don't stock out, and then you've got your new inventory in, but because you paced it out so much, yeah, you took less risk with your money. Yeah, you didn't stock out, but maybe you didn't get it building and growing, and so like maybe by then you have 2 new reviews because you paced it. But if you didn't pace it, maybe you were able to do a lot better than that, which I would say is more advantageous, even though you ended up stocking out. because
Yeah,
then when you get stock back in, you've got a stronger listing sitting there. And I literally have, if we jumped into my Seller Central and looked in my advertising right now, you'll see campaigns in there that I set up, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years ago.
And it's still running.
Just still running.
Wow.
And also if you go look at there, you'll see that there's like 3 or 4 keywords in there still running. But if you looked into all the ones that I turned off, there's like 20 that I turned off. But those 4 have been running for a year and a half, just continuing to make me profitable sales and continuing to increase, sales velocity. I'm sure plenty of reviews have come through those PPC purchases.
Yeah.
So